Hi everyone. Today we are talking about an event that literally changed the world we live in, the October Revolution. This event didn't just change Russia, it reshaped the entire 20th century and created global political structures that lasted until the collapse of the Soviet Union. The October Revolution was the first successful implementation of Marxist ideology. It offered a massive alternative to the capitalist status quo and divided the world into two separate parts. But our main goal today is to answer a specific question. Was this revolution just a random accident, or was it the unavoidable result of the conditions in the Russia at the time? Most people think it was a random event, but we want to show it was much deeper than that. We will analyze this through three lenses: social, political, and ideological.
Товарищи, рабоче-крестьянская революция, о необходимости которой все время говорили большевики, совершилась!
To understand why people were ready for radical change, we have to look at late 19th and early 20th centuries Russia. Life for workers and peasants was incredibly hard, and inequalities were extreme. Under the autocratic system, workers had no representation in government, which led to terrible wages and zero legal rights. This created a massive gap between the elite and the people. We argued that these inequalities is why people lost hope and turned to radical thoughts. A key moment was Bloody Sunday in 1905, where the Tsar soldiers fired on the protester who simply wanted better working conditions. This was a disaster because the people finally realized that Tsar was not their protector. To see how bad this collapse was, we use Orlan Dafi's A People's Tragedy. His work shows that Russian poverty was a deep, structural issue that made the revolution almost inevitable. While this poverty was the foundation of anger, World War I was the final trigger. Sheila Fitzpatrick explained in her work how the war acted as a final blow to the state by destroying Russia's social structure. The mass hunger and the millions of dead finally pushed desperate people towards radical ideas like socialism.
The political perspective, the power gap. While society was breaking down, the political system was also falling apart. During the First World War, the Tsar lost his authority, and there was no united government to lead Russia. This led to the February Revolution, which created a dangerous power gap between the provisional government and the Petrograd Soviet. In this chaos, Germans helped Lenin return to Russia, hoping he would pull the country out of the war.
Oh look, here he comes now. Shut up, shut up! You all suck! The provisional government sucks, the Soviet sucks, even your fan art sucks! Why does he have to be so mean?
Lenin was very effective at filling this gap and uniting the people. He even signed the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk with the Germans, a move that shows the extreme political deals the Bolsheviks were willing to make just to stay in power. To really understand how this takeover worked from the inside, we use Leon Trotsky's The History of the Russian Revolution. Trotsky was the leader of the Petrograd Soviet, so his account gives us a front row seat to the actual planning. His perspective shows that the revolution wasn't just luck. It was about being organized while the old system was falling apart. We combine this with the Robert Service's biography of Lenin to understand the leadership. Service explains the calculated strategies Lenin used to turn political chaos into total state control. Together, these sources prove Lenin was a practical leader who knew exactly how to use a political mess to his advantage.
Finally, we have to look at the ideas. According to traditional Marxism, a revolution should happen in developed industrial countries like Germany. But Russia was still an agrarian society full of peasants. The Bolsheviks succeeded because Lenin revised the theory to fit Russia. He knew that people just wanted to solve their basic problems, hunger and war. We are examining Lenin's own primary writings, the April Thesis and the State and Revolution, to prove this. These texts show how he challenged the government and planned a practical workers' state. He turned complex ideas into simple solutions that connected with what the people actually needed, making socialism feel like a local Russian solution. To back this up, we use Christopher Hill's research. Hill explains how Lenin was a master at connecting the party's political goals with the daily needs of the masses. He shows that the Bolsheviks didn't just win with ideas. They won because they made those ideas matter to the people on the street. In conclusion, our project argues that the success of the October Revolution was not a coincidence. It was the result of three major factors: deep social inequality, the total collapse of the political system during World War I, and a massive gap in authority. But most importantly, it was the Bolsheviks' ability to adapt their theory to the specific needs of the Russian people that allowed them to take control. By looking at these social, political, and ideological perspectives, we can see how a radical ideology successfully reshaped a nation and changed world history forever.
Whatever! I am Vladimir Lenin, revolutionary and leader of Communist Party! This interview is over!